We searched in vain for a distraction to elevate our spirits. Every proposal was met with contempt and disdain until Henry suggested a movie. There was only one movie theater in Coldwater, Michigan. It was named the Main Theater. I can't imagine why. I'm sure this confused any out-of-town visitors. It seemed to imply that there were several movie houses scattered about town, but this was the most important one. Not at all. The Main Theater was the only choice. All the popular movies played there, although their arrival was predictably tardy. They were generally shown approximately 6 months after the rest of the world had lost interest in them. It didn't matter. We weren't in any particular hurry. The Main Theater was a pleasant walk from my house, and the admission price was very reasonable. When I began attending regularly, the cost was just 20 cents for children and 60 cents for adults. A bag of popcorn was 10 cents and a cup of soda was another dime. Henry, Raymond, and I conspired to attend the evening's first performance. Henry suggested, though, that we save the 10 cents we would normally have spent on popcorn. The theater, of course, had rules regarding food. Bringing it in from home was forbidden. We were aware of this situation, but we figured that if somehow it could be pulled off, it would be an amazing accomplishment. We were amateur smugglers, but considered several plans for transporting the contraband. Raymond's ideas were frequent and grandiose. They could only be considered reasonable when compared with Henry's. As the afternoon proceeded, the schemes grew more and more unlikely, and were rejected more and more vigorously. Finally, we convened for dinner, left with the understanding that Henry and I were not to worry. Ray would work out the details, and we had merely to show up and enjoy the free popcorn. I arrived at the theater before either of my accomplices. I stood in line and waited, wondering just what scheme Raymond had finally concocted. Henry came next. A few minutes later, Ray arrived with an enormous paper shopping bag filled with popcorn. On the outside of the bag, in bold black letters, he had written, "Raymond's old shoes." Henry and I appreciated the effort, but were somewhat skeptical as to its merits. I let the other two lead the way. We were not interrogated at the ticket booth. We paid our 20 cents apiece and advanced to the lobby. We passed the concession stand without incident. I was somewhat concerned about the final checkpoint, the ticket taker, but even he was fooled by Ray's clever ruse. We skirted down the aisle and settled into familiar seats. We were careful not to speak too loudly or demonstrate any action which might call attention to ourselves. With one eye trained on the screen and the other scouting for clandestine ushers, we nervously consumed our legal bounty. Although our brief flirtation with the dangers of smuggling was an unqualified success, it was an experiment too bold to repeat. I've often wondered what the theater employees must have been thinking. They apparently considered it perfectly reasonable for 3 young boys with guilty expressions to attend an evening performance, accompanied by discarded footwear.